to the Haunt channel. Today what I'm making a video on is an unboxing and review of new for 2025 Spirit Halloween Backbend Bonnie. Now this one I picked up at my second trip of Spirit, and I work at Spirit, so I use my employee discount, so I got a good deal on her. So she retails for $180, which honestly isn't too terrible. I mean, obviously it could be better, but I got it down to about $128, so I think that's fair. But anyways, honestly, like, I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of Spirit this year, but she was like the only one that really stood out to me, so I think she's my favorite of the year. I'm not saying that she's the best thing ever, but for what she is, she's honestly pretty good, and she has grown on me. But yeah, let's go ahead and open her here. I have seen her set up if you watch my store tours, so I know what to expect. And one thing I'm noticing about these new boxes is a lot of them, at least nowadays, especially this year I should say, have these slide out trays, which I know it's not the first time we've gotten them, but I'm pretty sure every prop at Spirit this year has a slide out tray, because not all of them do, which these slide out trays are much easier to deal with when you want to pack up an item, because you know you can't have them all set up year round. So but yeah, I'll show you what I mean by a slide out tray. Is this inner piece of cardboard here that keeps everything together, and it just kind of slides out. It's a very tight fit, but you know, they make it nice and snug, so yeah, slide her out right here. All right, so here she is, just in her slide out tray, all twist tied in there. So I will go ahead and undo these, and then I'll lay out everything so you can see what she is. So here she is in her slide out tray, and I just undid all the twist ties, so everything should come out now. So right off the bat, we have two pulls here. The second one is attached to the control box, and the first one is just a normal pull. And get her body out of here. And then her modules and all this bubble wrap, and then her base. And she also does have an adapter up here, which is great, so you don't have to buy one separately. So she doesn't have a lot of parts. So here's a better look of all the parts just spread out here. So first of all, we have her whole body here, and then we have the pole with the module labeled A, the other pole labeled B, and then we have the module here, and then the base and the adapter as well, which I've not taken out yet. But yeah, she seems to have a very simple setup, so I will get back once she is all built. So here she is all set up. Before I do a review of her, I just want to look at the box quickly. So this is the new box design for this year. You know, it has her normal photo, and then it has like this rectangle showing more detail of her, and then her back bend position there. She also has a lot of the new boxes this year have stickers attached to them. This says their price like this, so that's kind of neat this year. None of the other boxes in the past have really done that. But yeah, it just shows you what she does. Of course, you have a QR code that all the boxes usually have in case you want to scan it to see what it does if your store doesn't have her set up or whatever. And then there's more detail about her. And then of course we have the normal sticker up there for $180. Here's her story, which is the same story that's on the website. I'll just pause this so you can see it, but anyways, it just basically tells you that apparently she turned into a vampire. So she was a normal girl and she turned to a vampire, which she definitely has that vampire look with those teeth right there. But you could also, you know, you don't have to say she's a vampire. If you want to have haunt lore, you could also say she's a possessed girl. Either one works. And then, you know, has all the features. So she basically just takes all the normal options, so such as, you know, she can use both batteries and adapter. She comes with an adapter, as I showed you. Volume control, step pad / try-me, you know, all that stuff. And she's not outdoor rated, so. And then she stands at 5 feet, which seems pretty true compared to Reagan here, who is also 5 feet. And then here's the another photo, more of the stock photo with the background. Bottom, there's really nothing. The top just says Spirit there. And then the inside actually has a Dr. Zombie on this inside flap here. And then her instructions are actually taped inside the box. I did not need these at all because her setup was extremely easy. So HEA really has like not a lot of parts, so it is very straightforward. You can do it in like 2 minutes. Alright, so I have her facing the proper position as she is supposed to face backwards. So let me go ahead and plug her in so we can see what she does. Alright, so she should be on. She has an IR sensor right there. So her volume's halfway, and already she has very good sound qualities. So she should have 3 phrases. This should be the last phrase right here. Sensor's working really good. Alright, so as you can see, she works great. And honestly, I think they did a really good job on her overall. I do have a few complaints, but I'll get to the pros first. So first of all, I think she's pretty creepy looking overall. So I will say this, I had really mixed opinions on her when I first saw her. Before the video dropped, I was expecting her to be like a jump scare type prop, where she'd go down fast. And then people said that she went down slow, which by the sound of that, I didn't think it was going to be good. But then when I saw the video, I was like, okay, this actually is slow in a good way. Like, the slow back bending is kind of more eerie in a sense, so I think they actually did it well. Like, it's suspenseful. So that's actually pretty good. But yeah, she has a lot of nice detail, especially with her dress here. It's like a red velvet, and it's actually pretty nice. It has some lace here, and even a medallion that's plastic, but it still looks really good. Here's her hands there. Not much to them, but... And then her face, it's all plastic, so no latex dry rotting, which is good. Her arms are posable. The only thing that is kind of disappointing is just like up until a certain point, like up around her shoulder, it stops being posable because you can see it just kind of dangles. So unfortunately, you can't get the posing to be really good. I actually have Broken Spine Girl here. This is the original model. I know Halloween Costumes brought her back this year, which is awesome. But I'm just going to do a little bit of a comparison here. I'm not going to turn her on though, but just showing you. You know, Spine Girl has fully posable arms. See, they don't, like, they move, obviously, if you, like, shake them. But it's not like Bonnie's where they're, like, you know, they just dangle down. So I wish they had more posability up here where they actually stay so you can pose them better. Because I've seen at least some stores, depending on how you pose them, to make it look good. Sometimes if you pose them, the arms kind of go off to the side. So it's kind of hard to get them in a perfect pose, in my opinion. In the video, I just showed her activations. I didn't really pose her arms well because that was just from when I opened them. But yeah, I think it's a little bit better if you pose them straight down. But it would be better, I don't know what the right pose would be, so I would just say these not being dangly and being, if they were able to be posed better, then I would like that a lot more. But yeah, she also has some lace at the bottom here. And it does say back here because even though she's facing front, you know, she's supposed to be turned around because she bends backwards. So that's what it means by back here. I'll show her controls a little bit. So you can see the module here. It's just the basics. And then I'll kind of show her setup a little bit. Let me get the flash on in here. So here's a better look of the inside of her mechanism, just so you get a better idea how to set her up the inside. You have E, that goes in here, and then you have F, which is a little piece. It really makes it secure. So it slides on here and it has a cotter pin that's already attached, so you just slide that on to secure it. And then in the instructions bag in her box, there's a couple little things in there that you'll need. You'll need this pin here that holds the E into place, and then another cotter pin that's inside that bag to go with it, and that holds that in. And then there's also this little clip here that holds the wires so they don't really get in the way, which a lot of modern techie props have that, which, you know, it's pretty neat. But that's some of the inside of her. And she has this plastic shell to give her body form. I really do like how this is a very simple setup. It is one of the easiest setups, at least for like a modern spirit prop. It should take you no more than 5 minutes, honestly. It is very easy. It's not as complicated as her. Another thing about her though is that her head actually is not animated. It's kind of like loose. So like, it's obviously attached, but you see how it's kind of like loose there? It's purposely like that. So it's not an actual motor, but when she goes down, it kind of makes her head go down with it without being on a motor. So it just kind of goes off with the balance. So that's why when your head goes down, it's not an actual motor. So yeah, just like that. But yeah, like I said, she stands around 5 feet like the box said. Reagan here is 5 feet. So you can see they are pretty similar in height. And I will say, like, she's not the best thing ever. She's probably, after, like, you know, seeing her and everything, I think it's safe to say she's my favorite spirit prop of the year. But she still is not the best by any means, and I do still think that Broken Girl is on top. And they're both made by Techie, too. But, you know, people compare them a lot, because even though they're different, obviously, they both have, like, the same gimmick of the back bending. Broken Girl goes down faster while she's slower, but I think the way they did both of them is really good. So the fast works on her, and then even like the slowness, the way they did it on her actually works well. I will say the face detail could definitely be better, especially when you compare it to the prototype. The prototype was more pale. The gashes in her face were definitely colored better. These are like pretty light. I'm really thinking about like debating on going over this with some perma blood just to make it look better. The eyebrows are decently painted on mine. I know some aren't painted as well. She also has some blood splatters on here, which I guess is nice as I detail. I guess some dirt too. I also do kind of what I would prefer if the eyes were just full white like Broken Girl. I think they look better than her actual like pupils showing. Which, I mean, they don't look horrible. I just think they look better, like soulless, I guess. I don't know, just would fit the character more in my opinion. So I definitely think that at least the paint job could be better on the face. I do appreciate the fact that there is detail going on. Like, they could have just left it plain. Like, Broken Girl here, she doesn't really have much going on for her face. But, you know, it actually still looks creepy and good. But yeah, I'm glad they actually added more cuts. It looks more like Reagan here. Instead of just, you know, they could have left it plain. But the fact that they still did detail, I will, you know, appreciate that. But I still just wish the paint on the release models was better. Of course, she has a wig attached to her too. And yeah, I showed the back during the demo, but her sensor's there. There's also Velcro on here. But yeah, I have to say my favorite part about her is just, I don't know, I think the costume looks really good. It's like, you know, it's supposed to be like a Victorian era crimson dress, so, but it looks really good. It's like high quality for what it is. Like, it's actual velvet, which is nice. It's kind of heavy, but not too heavy that's gonna break the item, of course. And her speaker, by the way, is fantastic quality. Like, I only had it halfway up, but even then, the quality of the speaker is honestly like really good. So I'm really happy about that. So Techie did really good on this one overall. Like I said, could be better. I doubt that was a couple complaints I went over, but she's good for what she is. I mean, she's definitely the best of the lineup. I know so many people are buying her, so she's I'd say she's the best seller of the year so far, and the season's pretty much just begun for Spirit, which is pretty crazy. And 180, like I said earlier, isn't terrible. It's not the best either. But when you get a discount, it's obviously makes it more worth it, of course. The cheaper, the better. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much Backbend Bonnie, so I'm pretty happy to have her. I do have a pretty neat plan for her in my haunt this year. Her character fits the vibe of her being like a vampire / possessed girl. So either way, you know, when you have your own haunt, you can make your own story of what's happening. You don't have to go with spirits, of course. But yeah, and Broken Girl here, you know, I don't think I'm ever gonna really use her because she's fragile, and I don't know if I'm gonna even bother getting the new model, even though I know it's really upgraded, which is awesome. But you know, Bonnie here at least should be lasting as long as you don't use it constantly. So, but she will be a good use. So I guess she's kind of a replacement in a sense that I can use. I'll rather use Bonnie in a haunt compared to Spine Girl, because this is my second Spine Girl. The first one broke because she really does live up to her name, but she's still really cool either way. So yeah, I figured that, you know, while I have both of them here, it's a pretty good comparison, especially since they're both by Techie and pretty similar. I'm not gonna activate both of them together, like I said, just because I don't really want to risk, you know, putting more stress on her because she's fully working. But yeah, this is mainly obviously about Bonnie. But while I had her here, you know, might as well. I know other people made reviews, so. But yeah, that's just me. But Bonnie will be a good addition to this year's haunt, and I can't wait to show you guys what I have planned for that. But yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about her. She's pretty cool, and I will say, you know, if you're skilled enough, you could definitely give her a better paint job. I might try that out. Like I said, I might do the perma blood, but we'll see how things go. Oh, so another fun fact, in case you didn't know, her original name was actually Backbend Bernadette. That was her description name, but I guess they changed it to Bonnie. But yeah, that is Backbend Bonnie for Spirit Halloween 2025, made by Techie. So, yeah, I think that's really going to do it for her. See you guys next time. Bye.